Oh, man. Well, I might get a little emotional, but the interesting thing is that I talk to my kids about this all the time. Never give up. 1. If you're going to bet on anything, bet on yourself.
2.
Right? And don't take no. 3. Don't take no. There's always a yes on the other side.
You're backing that one up?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to back that one up because just like he said, we have these conversations as a family. The kids are there. I'm there. Even Nana's there.
Yeah, that's my mother.
You know, that's his mom. And this is what we learn on these Saturday lessons. And through time, I have noticed that they're 100% true.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Restaurant Systems Pro.
With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, founders of Buena Papa Fry Bar, James and Johanna Windon. Are you two feeling unstoppable today?
Unstoppable. We can't be stopped.
Unstoppable. You opened your first location in 2021?
That's correct.
Yes.
3 years later, you got 3 locations, and you have how many franchise?
Well, we signed
in the pipeline?
2 officially. We have 2 more that we should be signing today.
5.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
You're moving.
We're moving.
Yes.
You're moving.
It's a freight train. It won't be
And
stopped.
I'm gonna be very honest. I usually let my guests dictate who I talk to. But every once in a while, I get an email from a publicist, and I find somebody who I think is just doing really cool stuff. I even did research. I came here a month ago.
Oh, boy.
Really?
And I wanted to make sure because you guys were so out of the gates. I'm like, they're only 2 years old. I was like
we're
let's make
babies.
sure before I came in, and the service was great.
Oh,
the product, the packaging.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was a line, and the product was good. I really enjoyed it.
All the gods were
So I
working
was like,
together that day.
all right.
That's awesome.
I was like, and here's the thing that really excites me about sharing people who are like fresh in the industry. Plus, you have no prior industry experience.
Not at all.
Correct.
0.
I love sharing stories like this, and I think that there's so much value in sharing stories of people who are going through it right now because the industry has transformed so much in such a short period of time that your story I know is going to resonate with our listeners. You're going to help a lot of people out. So I cannot wait to get into it.
Oh, boy.
And before we do, let's get that motivational, inspirational, ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. What do you got for us?
All right. This is what I live by, and it's very simple. Ready, shoot, and then aim.
Ready, shoot, aim.
So I don't aim first. I shoot first, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. But a lot of times it pushes me further than I would have went.
Yeah, we're cut from the same cloth, man.
I like it already.
I'm the kind of person too where I don't like ask what the temperature of the water is. I just jump in.
Oh my God.
And they go, "Holy shit, we should probably get a wetsuit."
Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, there's what are the pros and cons to that?
Well, the pro is, and kind of I really live by this my whole entire life, you get to do things and be in spaces that you would have never been in because you're taking the fear out because you're just jumping right in.
Yeah, you're starting.
Now, the con is you didn't know anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So now you got to go back and relearn everything, but it's kind of a survival thing at this point because you have to survive now. You got to swim.
Yeah,
you're in the water.
Your operational expenses can kind of get out of control
Yeah,
pretty fast.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And some other things
yeah.
as
Like
well.
what? Like what?
Oh boy. So I don't know how far we're going. We're going to deep
get
in
into
already.
it. Let's
Let's
get
get
into
it. So, and we didn't know anything about the restaurant industry. So, food costing, labor cost.
Yeah.
We just made a good product. We made some tasty food, and we're like, we're gonna put it out there, But wastage. We didn't know about that.
At first, a lot.
So
Oh yeah, we'll get
like
into
our
it.
first couple of
These
weeks,
are good teasers.
we were like, making a bunch of food and just throwing it away at the end of the night, not thinking about how much money that's costing us.
Yeah.
So we learned quickly and got smacked in the face really early.
A few
about
times.
6 months in. Yeah. So
Good teaser right
Yeah,
there. We'll pull
that's
back
right.
layers on
Pull
that,
back,
I'm sure.
pull back.
Joanna, did you want to add anything? Do you have a quote or a mantra you want to share before we move forward?
I think that for me, I would say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. How
Yeah,
strong are
for
you right
sure.
now?
Very
You're still
strong.
alive, so I'm assuming
yeah,
you've gotten pretty strong.
I've been through a few careers. The restaurant industry in itself
Beating
is
you
a
up a little
whole,
bit?
yeah, it's a whole other world. We had to get used to. I had to learn. I'm still learning, but it's an awesome place. It's an awesome place to live and thrive.
Beautiful. So I can't wait to really dive in, but I don't know where it makes sense to start because you guys, like we mentioned, you weren't working in the restaurant industry before this, so
Not
it
at
wasn't
all.
like you had a mentor or you went and you
No
worked
mentor.
to get experience. But it does make sense to kind of get an idea of what you were doing before this.
Sure.
So, like, where does it make sense to start? Take us to the beginning.
I'll take you the quick route so we can get back to the restaurant field.
Yeah.
Got it.
So after college, worked in entertainment for a little while, entertainment management for Queen Latifah, of all people, in New Jersey. And we made some movies together, and I kind of got my marketing and branding feet wet there, right? Had a baby with this young lady here. And after that baby, she said, you got to get serious about your career because this entertainment thing is cool, but it's not making money right now, right? So I was like, all right. So I went into staffing. So we did I did some temporary staffing for a company called Manpower. And then I figured I was like, wait a minute. I built this whole business desk by myself. I can do this by myself.
Right.
So I put together a business and went out and did staffing my own.
Can you timestamp this
Sure.
first so we can get an idea?
So entertainment, I worked from 2000 to 2005. The recruiting company, 2005, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2008, everything went down.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody needed staffing agencies
that
anymore.
That was
That
tough.
was a tough time.
Yeah.
That was a very tough time.
So from there, we were looking at what was our next step. And we came to North Carolina on a wedding. We went to a wedding in North Carolina.
We did.
And we're like, wow, New Jersey's going down, but they're still building in North Carolina. So I was like, I wonder what we can do over there.
Yeah.
So on our way back driving home, I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I think we should move here. She's like, what are we going to do here? I was like, well, you can teach. And I was like, but there's a lot of houses being built. How about we make a maid service? And we just like modernize it. It won't be your grandmother's maid service. Everything will be automated. And so that's what we did. And that brought us here.
From 2008 to 2000.
Well, that was 2008. So that thought process was a couple of years, actually. So that thought process started in 2012.
Okay.
And we came here officially 2014.
Got it. And you're a teacher.
Yes. So I graduated college, started teaching in New Jersey, taught there for 12 years. And then that's when I left my career and came down here and started working for...
I wrangled her into the maid business.
Yeah. And that was the first kind of like taste of like entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So reflecting back on these businesses you built and the teaching career you had, how do you think those experiences help shape you into what would become successful restaurateurs? What did you pull from those experiences?
Well, all I do, because I don't have any restaurant experience, the only thing I could pull from is from my past experience. So from the entertainment background, all the branding you see in our restaurants, all the advertising,
you guys have great branding.
Thanks.
All of our social media, that comes from the entertainment background. The staffing background, this is how we build our staff, right? I know what to look for when I'm interviewing. I know what, when I'm looking at somebody, I'm looking into their core and asking them the hard questions to see if they'll work out. And all that comes from my time in staffing.
Awesome.
But what about you?
I would say in a class, I would say if you can teach, you could do anything. And that's because there's so many...
Teachers are so underappreciated. This country walks all over the teachers and these little freaking brats that are around today, these entitled little shits.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to all the teachers. You can't say it, but I'll say it.
No, I can't say that.
I hear the stories from my teacher friends.
Okay.
Well, it's really the parents that are like the heart.
Yeah, it's tough. So
like,
you just...
You're galvanized, my friend.
You're
tough.
Already.
Thank you. So you just mentioned a few people, right? You missed the principals,
right.
The benchmarks. I mean, it just goes on and on. Everybody's always trying to get something out of you, or there's just a lot of moving parts, and that's very similar to a kitchen. There's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. There's a back kitchen, front house, back house, that sort of the register, the monitors. There's a lot of things going on. And so I feel like as a teacher, I'm able to kind of see those moving parts and just kind of make them dance together.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
But I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is that really, like, we're not in the business. The restaurant industry, you have to be good at so many things. And there's so many variables. But we're teachers. We get these new people in. We have to train them. And we have to mentor them and mold them and create opportunity for them. And I feel like that's kind of what a teacher does.
For sure.
In a sense where, like, you're constant. You understand that everyone learns differently.
That's right. Yes.
And at the end of the day, we're really just molding people.
Correct. Yes. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and obviously being able to be comfortable, they could be strong in their position.
Yeah.
And that makes the business stronger.
And you're not first-time business owners. You did mention you were an entrepreneur. Did you have your own business when you were working with Queen Latifah, or were you contracted out?
I actually did. So I started working with them as a receptionist out of college, right? And at that time, the big Latin boom had happened. J-Lo was popular, Zoe Saldana, and a lot of folks. So I pitched to them, and my 19-year-old self, hey, how about you guys, we make a Latin division, and we manage Latin artists. And they were like, oh, that sounds great. You do it. So I was like, oh, okay. And anyway, so fast forward, I went out and, I knocked on Zoe Saldana's door. I tried to get her and tried to get a couple of different Latin artists. I ended up hanging on to one. His name is Roberto Vanderpool, and I got him a couple of movie deals through that time. So that was my first entrepreneurial experience there within the company.
And what about with the maid service that you created? This is probably your first service industry type related job.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What were the skills that you think were most important for you during that time?
Well, that's interesting. All right, so there were maid services already in existence, right? So we were trying to figure out how can we be different. So we had this technical background, we had this marketing background, so we really focused on that.
What was the technical background that you think was most supporting you in the maid service?
Coding a website.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know how I learned coding, but somehow along the lines I did.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. My mom tells me so as well. Yeah. So we put together the website, and we coded it. We made it beautiful, sleek. Everything was automated. You paid automation. You got visit reminders, and that wasn't being done in this area. So that's what made us stand apart.
And they could also text us.
Yeah,
which was like huge.
So you were leveraging the technology to add value.
Exactly.
Add more services, be better communication,
exactly.
Automate the process.
Right.
So anything else that we're not talking about that we should address before we start talking about, what it was like to be a first-time restaurateur?
Well, my dad, all his jobs were in the service industry, and he was a cook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. When I was younger, I thought he was chef because he came home with his chef jacket.
Yeah.
So, unbeknownst to me, that kind of osmosed into my body, and it kind of showed itself during the beginnings of Buena Papa. And
what do you mean?
Well, I'll let you know. So when we first got the idea, we kind of had to come up with recipes, right? So I pulled on all those resources and all those times with my dad cooking in the kitchen, and I felt comfortable around the food, the taste, the flavors, and I could imagine them how they would taste together. So all those flavors and all these dishes were actually created by me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the piece that my dad gave me.
Is Dad still around?
No, Dad passed away.
Sorry,
2014.
I'm sorry, he wasn't around to see what you guys.
I know,
I'm sure,
man.
Sure, he'd be proud of you.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So, when did you start saying, you know what we should do? We should open a restaurant. That's really what's missing in our.
That's funny.
When did that come in?
Well, that never actually happened, but I'll tell you how it happened. So, in the pandemic, right? They shut down our maid service.
Oh, right.
So the government shut it down because we couldn't go inside of people's homes at that time.
How was your maid service doing at that time?
We were top 5 in our area.
Wow.
So that's huge. Yes. Out of, I don't know, 20, 30 companies.
Well, considering 2000, you're only 6 years into business.
Right.
So that's a testament to your marketing, to your automation.
Yes.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of maid services.
Yeah,
at the time there was.
And there were national brands.
Top 5?
Top 5.
I'm sure there's at least 20 services.
At least.
So
they
were around all the time.
I mean, that was a testament to your.
So they weren't focusing on SEO and a lot of and social media. We were heavy in social media at that time, and we'll get more into that about our restaurant and how that helped in our restaurant time. But I forgot. I got lost. Where were we?
When you thought you were going to get the restaurant. So 2020.
2020 is happening.
I also think it's funny that you're like, our maid service shut down because of COVID. You know what industry's thriving right now and we should get into? The restaurant industry.
You know what? It kind of was and it wasn't. And I'll tell you why. But anyway, so we were shut down, and I'm at home we need money. We need money, right? And what were we doing? We were ordering food to come to our house, right? We were going to pick up food. And although a lot of restaurants were going down, they had restructured it, right? That, they were serving out of the window, serving out of the door. I was like, wait a minute. Everyone still has to eat, So I kept that in the back of my mind. And during the pandemic, we're at home, and, my wife was making a famous dish that comes from her country.
Yeah, bandeja paisa.
Bandeja paisa. So that's she's from Colombia.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of an accent there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And so she's making this dish, and she doesn't have the rice for the dish because we didn't go shopping that day or whatever.
Right.
But the whole time we were at home, I had been making these new fries that I learned how to make on YouTube. Yeah. Shout out to YouTube University, right? And
you can literally learn anything today. That's the cool thing.
Yes.
It reminds me. So I started this podcast because I grew up in the restaurant industry, and I saw firsthand how much my parents struggled with a very busy restaurant. Lines out the door every weekend.
Wow, that's amazing.
But they never had the resources to figure out menu engineering, costing, the things that you had trouble with. That you could be like, wow, we're losing money. We should probably figure out how to do this right.
Right.
In the 80s and early 90s, that meant paying up to some big consultant.
Right.
Or going and doing the research. But there really wasn't a lot of books out there either.
No.
So you really had to go to the source.
Wow. That's a lot harder because everything is at your fingertips today.
Yeah, we're so so fortunate today. I just wanted to
No, I like that. I like that.
Cool. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
You can learn anything. Yes. It's a search engine away.
That's right.
That's it. All you need is in Spanish it's called ganas. Like that, you need to want to do it.
Yes.
You got the ganas, you can learn anything. Desire. Yeah. Exactly.
Love
exactly.
It. I keep on.
No, please, please. Also, so I have been learning to make these fries, and I was making them for the kids, like hand cut fries. A recipe I learned online. I can't tell you exactly where it's at because I don't want you copying our recipe now. Anyway, but so she's out of the rice. I'm like, hey, just put the the meat, the chorizo, the fried pork belly on top of these fries. And she's like, what?
By the way, like you don't do that. As a Latin, you do not do that.
Did you get slapped, James?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
it was
I was like, what's my mom gonna say?
Yeah,
like you can't do that. You need the rice.
A carb is a carb, man. It's rice, potatoes. What's the difference?
And I was like, well, I have no choice. I don't have the rice. Like, go ahead and do what you need to do.
So we put it on top of the fries that I had made, and I'm watching the kids eat this stuff. I'm watching my wife eat it, my mom eat it. I'm like, wait a minute, they're like devouring this stuff.
Is this your mother-in-law or your mom?
No.
Mother, my mom.
Yeah.
My mom.
Because has your mom experienced these yet?
Yeah, she has.
Has she given you her blessing?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's given us the tear blessing. She's been crying a lot every time she visits. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe this.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. So we put it on these fries. Everyone loves it. So I'm like, okay, we may have something here, right? But I don't know what it is yet. So I started researching it after that day. I was like, I wonder if we can put different types of Latin street food on top of fries. I hadn't told her anything yet. So I started researching stuff from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, like different street foods. And I was like, you know what? Next weekend, I'm going to do this all over again. I'm going to make these fries, but this time we're going to have different tastes.
So why Latin? Is it because of the association with the carb, the rice, and the substituting?
Well, no, not really. I consider myself, we're in a biracial family.
Yeah.
So my wife is Colombian from South America. I'm African American. And, you kind of lean towards what the wife is doing.
Yeah.
So I've adopted a lot of her culture. And first of all, I'm in love with the food, love with the culture.
Que viva Colombia.
Oh, that means long live Colombia.
I've heard beautiful things about Colombia. I would love to go.
You got to go.
Yeah,
you got to go. Cartagena, Medellin.
So beautiful.
When you get a chance, go.
Yeah.
So I started thinking Latin first because I didn't see it being done out in the market, right? Because you see it when you go on vacation, you're in Cancun, or you're in Puerto Rico and San Juan. I was like, what if we can bring that all into one kind of, little area, right, in the U.S.? So I make all these dishes up, and, I'm telling my kids, hey, we're having fries again today. I told my wife. So this time I was like, I'll be the cook. So I cook it all up.
I said, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't have to cook.
So I started serving these little dishes, with little flags on them. Puerto Rico, Colombia, Mexico.
I love the flags. It's a great touch, man.
Thank you, sir. And again, they're devouring this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got something here. And my mom, who's very picky. Moms.
So you're putting the flags in before you ever thought of just for fun.
Well, no. I'll tell you because I thought of the branding before I started making the recipes. We can get deeper into that.
So you're thinking I want to start a restaurant. This is the point. The goal is opening a restaurant.
But I just wanted to prove it to my family that it was good first.
So you had French fries. You decided to put the Colombian food on top of the French fries.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, are you thinking restaurant or are you just having fun?
No. I'm thinking restaurant.
Okay.
We'll get to know more about me, but I'm always thinking business.
Yes.
Yeah. My business wheels are always rolling. Even
this
right
is
now.
2020 when this is going on.
This is 2020.
What month of 2020?
This happened. Okay.
Was
so
it
2021.
summer?
No, I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was the middle of. I think it was around November.
You think?
So.
Yeah.
So like 6 months in. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, like 6 months. Yeah.
Six or
that
5
makes
months
sense.
in, right around that. I'm not good with visualizing months and days.
Yeah.
But, so I think now is actually a good time to take our first break to thank our sponsors, and we'll come back and start talking about how you started putting things in motion.
Gotcha.
We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that right now, Restaurant Systems Pro is offering a no strings attached 60-day trial that will help you improve your systems, increase your profit, and find better work-life balance. All you have to do is click the link below.
We're back, and now I want to get into, so you have something. You're doing something, and you're not the first person. There are other French fry concepts out there, right? Are you familiar with any of those?
At that time, I wasn't. And that's what I liked about that, too. We'll talk about that later if you want.
Yeah. So what was next once you realized you might have something? Like, where like, what's on this journey? Like, what's next?
Sure. So, I figured we have something with the first dish that we make, right? Mm-hmm. And immediately I start thinking, like, how can this branding look? Like, what would it look like if we made a restaurant, right? Yeah. Would it be sleek? Would it be this? And I started taking concepts from Colombian culture, like the burlap bag, and I put together like a vision board of how this would look, right? Before we actually but before I told her that I wanted to do a restaurant.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the. Oh, we got some. The mic is dancing around your feet over there.
Don't mind me. I have a ghost mic right now, and it's like it keeps floating away from me no matter what I do.
Mike, stay.
So sorry, it's for the distractions. So continue your. If you want, you can kind of.
So I start working on the branding, and in my head, I'm making a vision board of ideas on how this thing will look. And I get to the point where I'm making these dishes again the week later. Yeah. Right. 7 days later, I made all these different dishes. They loved them, and now I'm married to this. This is going to be a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I stand up in the middle of the kitchen while everyone just like slob is coming out of their mouth, fries are.
This is a good sign.
Yeah, this is good. And I said, "Hey guys," and everyone turned around. I was like, "What?" And I we're gonna do new business. And my kids, they always hear me talk about business, so it wasn't really that exciting to them. They were like, "What?" I was like, "We're going to sell French fries." And it was just like that, just silence.
They're like, "Okay, Dad."
Yeah, okay, Dad. Yeah. And my wife looked at me like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're going to make a French fry business."
The kids start crying. We're going to be poor.
Dad is selling fries. What's going on? My friend's dad's a doctor. You're selling fries. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't get a good response, and I wasn't looking for a good response, right? Yeah. The response I wanted, I saw in how they were eating the food. Yeah. And right there, I was convinced. Mm-hmm. So my wife later on that night, and I don't remember exactly how this went, but she was like, "Are you serious, honey?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're going to make a fry business." She was like, "Where?" I don't know yet. We're going to do this thing. And, so I kind of just left her alone, and then I went into my little business mode and started building this thing out step by step by step by step. And I came back to her when I had a plan.
Yeah.
So what were those steps look like? And I think 2020 was a really cool time to open a restaurant.
You had a lot of
time.
I
was kind of teasing you before saying like, oh, the restaurant industry is in shambles. Like, let's go open a restaurant. There is actually some smart, like that was a good strategy because so many restaurants were just like literally throwing up their hands and saying, we're done.
That was opening some spaces.
Done. Yeah. Yes.
That weren't available
Whenever
before.
There's disaster, there's usually, think of a fire, like there's so much room for growth.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I think there was some strategy there, but you also chose to start small. Did it start with the kiosk or the food hall?
The food hall stall? Yeah.
Were you doing pop-ups or?
No. So what happened was I actually built out a whole marketing plan. Yeah. Right, with pictures, photos, and everything. Logo. We have built a logo already.
Is that middle? Is that a French fry that's in the between
That is
the
a French fry.
Yeah,
that's a little French fry there. And I started walking into places and saying, "Hey, this is an idea I have. Would you guys let us do it here?" And 20 of them said no.
What were these places? Were they bars?
No. So I went straight to I went to the malls. So I was trying to get into the food courts. Yeah. And everyone was like, "Yeah, looks cool. How much experience do you guys have?" Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, zero."
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, no, we don't have time for that here."
Yeah.
And
do you get why people were saying that now?
I understand it. I do understand it.
Yeah, no, we didn't blame them.
But
even at the time,
that's my ready, fire aim
right.
deal.
But I think experience does matter, but less today. because you can get the information.
Right.
You can find the information. You can literally find step-by-step processes to open restaurants online.
You could. Especially with ChatGPT. Shout out ChatGPT.
Wait, you're using ChatGPT?
No, not at that time.
Not at that time.
For now.
Not at
now.
that time.
Secrets do you like? What secret networks are you involved in?
I can't give them all away.
So what was your strategy? So just going to all these food
Yeah,
courts,
knocking on doors.
Market.
Yeah, I had a lot of free time because we didn't have a business at that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're closed. So knocking on a
Were
lot
you
of
getting government money because you had a
we
disaster
did.
relief
We
loan?
got a PPP loan.
Nice.
We got a PPP loan, and we tried to reopen the business, but we'll talk more about that later, and you'll understand why it couldn't really survive anymore. So we're knocking on doors, and we came to a food hall, our local food hall here in Raleigh, North Carolina, popular place. And funny enough, we had tried to approach them 2 years earlier with an empanada concept that I had.
You're always,
I'm telling you, the wheels are always going.
My dream concept is a calzone concept, so we really
Let's go.
Yeah, the same cost.
Different types of calzones.
I go back and forth on what I want to do.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
I think keep it simple, stupid, and like just do chicken finger calzones.
Oh,
because
wow.
operationally,
Yeah.
it's like
Now you
I should stop talking.
You can simplify it. I'm gonna put that in my pocket right now.
Right. Like I'm saying, like Chick-fil-A in a calzone.
Oh, that's good, bro.
I think you got something there.
Yeah,
Right?
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Right.
We'll build that out. Yeah.
And since I've started talking about this, I
Yeah.
see calzone concepts popping up.
That's
but
funny.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm busy with my podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're doing good.
You're
You're doing good.
You're
You're doing good. Where do we leave off here?
Empanadas.
Empanadas, yeah. And we came in the door and they laughed at us. They were like, "There's like a 7-year waiting list to get in this place.
Yeah.
Like there's, all the stalls are filled
Yeah.
because at that time business is booming everywhere. This is before COVID.
Right.
And so I come back to the same food hall 2 years later in COVID, and they have like 3 or 4 empty stalls. I'm like, oh yeah, feel bad for the businesses that went out of business.
Right.
But I said they gotta give me an opportunity. So I talked to some people in management, and they were like, yeah, you guys really don't have experience. We'll keep it in mind.
Yeah.
A month or so goes by, I keep knocking on doors and meeting with different managers. I would tell my wife, I was like, babe, I'm gonna go out again.
I love the hustle. I love the grind.
You gotta do it.
Determination.
You gotta hustle,
So much
man.
hustle, yeah.
That's what life is about. You can get anything done through hustling, through perseverance.
People are not just going to say, oh, yes,
No.
come in, welcome.
Right.
That just doesn't happen.
I'm
sorry.
I'm
that just
accustomed
doesn't
to
happen.
no's. I live in
Yeah.
no's, and that makes me just keep pushing until I get a yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, right? So I met with managers, like 3 or 4 managers here.
Yeah.
Then one time I stopped a guy in the parking lot. And he looked kind of managerial. He had like a button-up shirt on. I was like, hey, you work here? He's like, yeah, I'm the GM here. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, hey, I got this concept. Boom, and I had the folder already, the report. It's a French fry concept. He's like, let me give it a read. I was like, all right, I'll hang out while you read it.
I'll be right here.
Yeah, I'll be right here. So he's flipping through the page. He's like, oh, wow, this looks interesting. And he's like, wow. He's like, any restaurant experience? Like, no, but tons of business experience. He's like, okay. You know what? You got time for a meeting later on this week? Of course I do.
Yeah.
I'm available.
How about like in an hour?
Yeah. So he took it back to, I guess, upper management. And by the time we got to talk to them, they had all fell in love with the concept. Again, this is concept. This has never been proven.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, let's write up a leasing agreement.
Now, at this point, is your mission of connecting people through food in like different? I can't remember the mission statement exactly.
Yeah.
You share the mission statement.
Sure.
Because I don't want to butcher it.
You remember it here?
Putting you on the spot.
No. We should be remembering this mission statement. But connecting people through food.
But it's about through the different cultures.
Yeah,
and how
That's
people
right.
experience
Yeah.
different cultures and connecting people. But I think
Through
right
one
now,
vehicle.
yeah, I think the
The
biggest
entire-
issue in our country now. I'm getting I was looking to probably save this towards the end.
No, this is good.
But I think that we just need to get perspective. That's
I
one
like
of the
it.
biggest things that I think our country is lacking is perspective. We're all in our bubbles,
Right.
And whether it's a cultural bubble or a political bubble
Yeah.
or whatever bubble.
Yeah.
Just understand a different perspective, and it's not just one way.
And if you're
It's-
sitting at a table with someone, it's easier to understand and get to know them.
yes,
Right.
exactly. And just
Right.
listen, and try to understand. And so I love that. I don't know but when I read your mission statement,
yeah.
that's what I felt.
So at that time, it wasn't built. So that got built through the process.
Yeah.
Because we saw it happening. Because initially we thought opening up our customer base would be Hispanic. Like, yeah, they see the name and they're gonna come in. for the first 6 months, I don't remember one Hispanic buying our fries, right? So, and at that time, we worked the restaurant. We were in the front. We were, right in front and serving at the register. And I would see it was like a multi-rainbow of people coming to eat these fries.
Yeah.
So that's where the mission was born. I was like, wait a minute, this is not just for Hispanics. Yeah. This is for everybody.
I feel like as an American, you're like, you see Buena Papa, you're like, ooh, Buena Papa.
Yeah.
But like as a Hispanic, you're like, good potato.
Yeah. That's how they received it. That's how they were like, yeah, we're not eating that. We're going somewhere else.
They're like, where's the rice?
Where's the rice at? There's no beans? I'm out of here.
Anyway, I thought that was funny.
That's good. That's good. That's the truth.
It is.
That's the truth. That's how it happened.
But the Hispanics are eating it now.
Oh, they love
my
it
gosh, they love
it.
it.
Yeah.
So you get this guy to read your business plan. He says, let's make a meeting. Take it from there.
Yeah, so we make a meeting, and he's like, I love the concept. You got money for a down payment? I was like, yeah, we got some money. Yeah. So we put the money down, and first I called my wife. I was like, babe, they want to go through with this thing. And she was like, okay, how are we going to do it? I was like, we'll figure it out. Yep. So before I make any signatures, I always call the boss.
Yeah, but you never give me any details.
Yeah, well.
You're just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And then later on,
you on the spot
I'm
now.
like, what? You did what?
Yeah. You know what she was most afraid of? Because, and this is something personal, but it's okay. So the lease on this space, and this is a 200 square feet space. You guys can't see, but it is.
We'll do some B-roll walking around with the cameras.
So it's $5,500, right? So that was the biggest lease.
Sorry, say it again.
$5,500 per month.
Per month. And what was the down payment?
Twice that. So it was like
That's
$10,000.
Good though.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we didn't know.
No,
it was good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, relative to opening a restaurant, and that's one of the reasons why I love food halls. As I think people think that food trucks are like the way in.
Oh, we're not food trucks fans. But
yeah.
I mean, why not? Why didn't you choose a food?
That's good. That's good. Because I thought about the maintenance on a food truck. I thought about moving around, and I'm kind of lazy. I want to stay in the same place and just sell my fries.
We kind of had experience with the cleaning business, and we had vehicles that the team would ride around in. Okay. And we knew what kind of a nightmare that was.
Share the nightmare.
I'll tell you the nightmare because I was the mechanic, I was the driver, I was the manager. So anytime the girls our employees, would have an issue on the road. What is this thing that used to always mess up? It would always overheat the cars. Yeah. We had old vans. And I had to go out and repair these vans, There was always flat tires. Yeah. So when we thought about food truck, I was like, no, I'm not doing a food truck. I don't want to deal with flat tires.
Are you ladies crushing the curb? What's going on?
Yeah, they were actually crashing the curb.
Yeah, they were. They were very violent with our cars.
Those vans got beat up, man.
They really did.
And I couldn't imagine, spending $45,000 to $60,000 on a truck and have somebody driving around and beat it up, and then I got to get it repaired. It was too much.
Food truck's a little more expensive.
A little bit more.
A little bit more. So that's why we're like, no, food truck.
Like, no.
Yeah, but no, those are all the reasons that you listed or why I think people need to understand. Like, unless you're mechanical, unless you are willing to, and like you said, you have to go to you can't make the food, like you can't prep the food in the food truck. You have to go to
commissary.
A commissary. So that's another payment, another, so it adds up. I mean, in the wild, when it was just getting started in like the crazy times of food trucks and there weren't any regulations around it.
That's the problem.
Like you could scoot in and but now like the government's caught up and they're like, whoa. Yeah. Where's our cut?
Right, exactly. You got to get approved to be places. It's just that's a lot.
And like the relationships, managing the relationships to get places to park.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then I know it's state to state with what you can do and city to city with what you can do.
It changes. Yeah.
It's not. Good.
It's not the most lovely place to be in. So I was like, nah, we're not doing that.
But if that's for you,
if it's for you, now, we love eating at food trucks.
I know, right?
Please keep serving. But I don't want to be in business.
This is so much less moving part. What you chose to do.
It is
a food commissary, not a food commissary. Food court.
Food hall.
Yeah. Food hall. Yeah.
Hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the technical difference between a food hall and a food court?
I'll tell you. So a food hall, the main purpose of this whole entire building is food. So you have different food concepts. So in a food court, it's inside of a different place.
It's an appendage.
An appendage of a mall or some sort of other type of venue.
Got it. So you get your down payment.
Right.
You get you sign the lease. Oh no, you not yet.
Talk to the boss.
You talked to the boss.
That's we started talking about money.
Right.
So she was like, well, how much is going to be a month? And I was like, like $5,500. She's like, what?
I said, what?
No
Are you
way.
crazy? Where are you going to get that money from?
Because the rent we paid for our maid service, I think it was like $900 a month.
Yeah.
We had like a little office.
Yeah.
And so $5,000 just seems so much.
You know, that was a lot for us. Like, I'm just saying, you know, for what we didn't know, like that was a lot. So when he came home talking about $5,000, I said, what? Where are you going to get that money from?
We just got to sell this much fries, and we can sell these many drinks.
Did you reverse engineer it?
I did.
And what did you find out? Like, what did you know about menu costing at this point?
Nothing at all. So
how were you accurate with your projections?
I was totally off.
How far off?
Oh, Jesus. Hey,
this is getting vulnerable right now.
No, this is good.
But people, like, this is how people learn.
Yeah.
So, like, and I thank you.
No problem. Listen, I totally screwed it up from the beginning.
Yeah.
So actually, what I would do is, I would go to the different stalls and I'd be like, hey, what do you guys charge for your meals?
And that's exactly what you should
do.
Just talk.
Well, that's good. And one of the guys here, he owns 2 different spaces here. He kind of became my ninja mentor. He was like, you know what? Because I gave him a price that I was going to charge. He's like, you should charge a little bit more. Food halls charge a little bit more because it's specifically for food. So people are just coming here for food. Right. So it's kind of like a novelty. So we can charge a percentage more. I was like, okay. And so I made my pricing off of what he was telling me. Right. So, but that had nothing to do with food costing. Finding cheaper product. Waste.
What you did in the beginning is exactly what most people do. They just go, they talk to other people, which is a good place to start. But really, at the end of the day, it's what is the profit I want to make?
Exactly.
And how do I reverse engineer all my costs?
So we didn't get to that until like a year in.
Yeah.
So we didn't buy a scale.
That's normal.
Yeah.
So let's go through the evolution. So you figure out your pricing by talking to people. What were the original prices?
So the original prices, I just thought it would be like a flat rate. Because what do I know about food? At this point, we had no vendors. So we're just thinking, we're planning this out. So I was like, we'll serve, we'll charge $10 a fry. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And the guy was like, just charge 12. I was like, we'll charge 12 then, all right?
Yeah. I think he might have just been nice, being like, it might be more than you think.
Yeah.
Do this, so just get a little extra.
A little extra. Yeah. But this is based on no knowledge of how much the purchase cost is going to be, what the food percentages should be. I didn't know any of that should be. So I'll fast forward a bit and we can come back. So, we get open. We do our first initial purchase. I don't know what the cost should be, right?
No.
Serving size. What's a serving size? Let's just pile it up. Who cares, man?
The more the better.
The more the better. It looks beautiful. And of course, it's a runaway success immediately because people are like, oh my God, this mountain of fries.
Who doesn't love French fries?
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
On the record, French fries are probably like my favorite food.
I like
second
this.
to calzones.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Anyway.
And I feel like most of America feels the same, right? And it's a runaway success, right? In the front, it's a runaway success. Now, on the back end, I'm looking at like, wait a minute. It's a lot of money coming in, but there's a lot of money going out too. I'm like, so where's the profit at? But at that time, it's just me, her, my 16-year-old daughter. We had hired one other guy. So I had no time to go look at numbers. No. I had no time to go back and reconstruct how this thing should have gone.
You were literally frying fries.
I was literally frying fries.
And I was in the front making plates.
Yeah. So just money coming in, money going out. And I never had a chance to sit down and look at like what's really going on here, right? You feel like you're rich because, all this income is coming in, but then in the back end, you're looking at it all go out at the same time. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong, but I don't have a chance to figure it out right now.
Exactly.
So when I hire somebody to replace me, I'm going to go figure this out. So that was our first blunders. Financial blunder.
So get specific. Why was that a financial blunder?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So first of all, we didn't know anything about food portioning. Let's talk about that. Restaurant owners, food portioning. You need to have a process for portioning.
Yep.
We didn't know about it.
So why is that important?
Because with food portioning, you can control your costs, right?
It's consistent.
Consistency across the board. You know how much product you're going to use. You know how much product you should be purchasing, which is another thing. Yeah. People don't know how to forecast. I didn't know how to forecast my purchases at all. Yep. Right? So I was always over-purchasing. Things would go bad in the refrigerator. We had to throw it out. And in my head, I was like, it's just, $10 worth of this. But that over a month, it amounts to a lot of money. And that's where we were, like, losing money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what were your other challenges early on? We're talking about costing as a big one. You said you you replaced yourself, or
Well, I said until I could replace myself.
okay. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about French fries. I'm not gonna lie. I think I missed like 2 sentences.
I missed everything. Somebody get some fries over here, please.
know,
Give him a basket of fries. He's hungry.
Man. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged.
That's funny.
It happens every once in a while. I just
Yeah.
want French fries. Whatever my guest is talking about. Yeah. Like, how much time? When did you actually open it here? Was it July of 2021?
Good question. So we started the build out in, I want to say February. We signed the contract in February 2021. We didn't start our first fry until
July
2021, the week of
July 4th.
July 4th.
Insane.
It was a bad idea.
That's a tough
Bad
time.
idea.
It was a great idea and it was a bad idea all at the same
Yeah.
time. But talking about the build out, we built this thing with our bare hands.
Yeah.
Like that wall, I put it up.
Yeah.
The electric,
The
I put the
doors,
electric in. Like
the
so,
TVs.
Grind.
it was a grind.
Yeah.
It was a grind.
Yeah.
So we served our first fry in July 2021.
Okay. Were you doing? You said you were doing a lot of research. Like, what were your resources for? Like, where were you going to learn about how to open a restaurant?
Sure. Google.
Well, what did Google tell you?
So I would ask for I would look for checklists. What are the steps to opening a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And even those checklists aren't complete.
Right.
Because what I learned after going through all the it will be establish your LLC, get a serve safe, which is a food safety course.
Yep.
Just those different steps, right? But no one talked about financial things later on, like make sure you're registered with the tax office in your state.
Right. Get your EIN.
EIN. And so that ended up being a blunder later on, and I'll get real personal about that because that hit me hard, and I don't want nobody to go through that.
Yeah. When did that happen? Like
so I thought because I had my EIN in place that I was all good with taxes, but nowhere in the verbiage did they say you had to register with the local authorities your restaurant business.
Is that state by state?
No. Well, yes. Well, yeah. Each state.
Okay.
Each state has a local tax, local sales tax.
Got it.
Sales tax. So I was like. So I have a program. We use a program called Toast, for our POS. So Toast would say it's taking out sales tax. So I was like, oh, okay, the sales tax is being paid. No, the sales tax was not being paid. The sales tax is just being taken out, but you have to set up the connection with the local authority where you're sending that money. So that money was just going in our account. And then 4 months into being in business, I get a knock from the local tax assessment guy and like, hey, we haven't received your sales tax. I was like, no, I'm sure it is. I got reports that says that we're pulling out sales tax. They're like, no, but you have to send that money to us.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
So it was getting segmented.
It was getting segmented through Toast.
But where was it going?
Just into our cash account.
Okay.
Just into the cash account.
So you once it hit that cash account,
it was just there.
You didn't realize that was your tax.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll be honest too, man. I'll get vulnerable. Like I was bad about putting money aside when a restaurant stopped. So when you're first starting a business, you need everything to survive.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything, and then you don't realize how fast tax can get away from you. How 15%, 20% can get away from you.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where it comes tax season, and you're like, I don't know where I'm gonna get this money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I use profit first. Are you a profit first?
Well, first I just started reading that book 2 weeks ago.
Oh
yes.
So I love profit first,
dude. Why do you love profit first?
I'll tell you why. Because it gives you a schedule and a program on how you should look at your finances, right? And of course, it's in the title. You're taking your profit first, right? And everything is being segmented, right? And that's huge.
It's the envelope system, but
envelope system
in using checking accounts instead of envelopes.
Exactly.
But everything flows to where it needs to be.
Your payroll is going to where it needs to be.
Yep.
Your food purchases is going where it needs to be.
I'll be fucking really honest. Part of my language
Please do,
right now. Profit first is saving me. I'm walking a tightrope right now.
Wow.
The past 2 monns have been tough for me with travel and a bunch going on. And if I didn't have that, you're not. So you're supposed to use profit to buy assets and to pay off debt. You're also supposed to use it in case you fucking really need something.
Yeah.
Like if you're in North Carolina and all of your other checking accounts are empty and you need to get home.
And you have that to the side. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm getting vulnerable right now.
No, I like it, man.
But it's at the end of the quarter. I'm winning on sponsors. So it's just whew. But that's what profit. But if I didn't have profit first, if I'm not putting away 10% of every dollar I make.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have that cushion to get me home.
It's amazing. And it's so simple that you're like, man, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
It's such a simple process.
But So go ahead.
Again, it's such a simple process, but again, people, when you're in the grind, we call it in the papa.
Yeah.
That means like just in the mess of things.
Yeah.
Not the bueno. Because
Not the bueno.
Not the
Buena's
Buena
good.
Papa.
Yeah.
But when you're just in the papa, you're like, man, you can't see outside of your box.
Yeah.
Right.
But that book helps to organize your thoughts when it comes to finances, and I love it.
And you really don't have to think about it. You just like twice a month, you just allocate cash.
This is so funny that we're reading this at the same time.
Dude, Casey Anton
Okay.
is a Profit First professional. I don't know if you're familiar with
I'm
that.
not.
I'm sure if you're just getting into the book, you'll learn more about the Profit First professionals. But they're like CFOs that are like certified to teach Profit First.
Gotcha.
Oh, cool.
And she specializes in restaurants who do Profit First.
Oh, I got to
If you
connect.
want, I would love to make it.
We got to connect.
And she's she's close with Mike Michalowicz. I actually did a recording with Mike Michalowicz about Profit First with Casey Anton.
That's
And Casey
awesome.
Anton and I created a Profit First for Restaurants course.
Come on, man.
And
Are you
she's coming
serious?
out with a Profit First for Restaurants book.
Wow.
This is super
And she's
exciting.
launching it right now.
That thing's going to be
That's
huge.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah, we're going to
It's
help her
needed.
get the word out. It's
needed.
so needed.
Yeah.
But especially with tax. So the difference between Profit First with restaurants versus other Profit First accounts is I think you need you're supposed to have 5 accounts: income, owner's pay, tax, operational expense, and
I'm forgetting the other one. You're more versed than me right now.
operational. I said owner's pay, right?
Yeah, you did.
Income,
Try
tax,
it again.
From
profit, income, tax, profit, owner's pay, operational expense.
Yeah.
That's what I missed. So there's profit and owner's pay.
Mhm.
So you're paying yourself and you're taking profit.
That's the
on top
part.
of it.
Yeah, that's the
That's
part.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I forgot to
And
mention.
profit you don't touch unless, like I mentioned, you're buying an asset, which is something that makes you money,
Right.
or you're paying off debt, or you're like, oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah.
we need
I
to like
messed up.
cover our asses.
And it's an account that you can't see or touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
kind of a way.
I think the sixth account is sales tax.
Sales tax. Yes.
Sales tax, and then you can do.
They broke it down a little bit more where for different industries you can have like a bunch more accounts. Yeah.
I think there might be another one for like employee pay or something like that, or
payroll.
yeah, I can't remember. I have to read her book. But I'm telling you, like, it just takes the pressure off.
Right.
And then it's also the mentality that like you adjust to what you have. So your operational expense account becomes what determines your growth. And
Exactly.
2 things determine your growth: your cash flow and your people.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So
Yeah.
if you don't have the cash in the operational expense account, then you can't grow
Can't grow.
until
Can't grow.
you start increasing revenue.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good.
Yeah, it's
This is
super
good
good.
stuff.
If you guys are listening to this and you want to learn more about Profit First, I'm taking a selfish plug right now.
Please
like,
do.
We're bringing back Restaurant Unstoppable. It never went anywhere, but like over the past year, like I focus more on the travel and getting the content.
Gotcha.
We have a community manager now, Callan Miola. She's doing an amazing job, and we're trying to create community around these
I love
subjects
it.
and bring restaurateurs together to support each other. So
That's awesome.
head over to the network. We're gonna have a whole segment in
I'm
the
excited,
network
man.
for like Profit First professionals. And I'm
excited.
pretty sure Casey Anton said she'd be happy to like lead that.
Wow.
So-
that's amazing, man. I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I'm selling right now. I'm
No.
sorry
No,
to be
it's
using your
okay.
time.
Please,
to
this is
sell,
great.
But this is
It's
great.
so
very
needed.
good stuff.
Yeah.
So needed.
Like when I found that book, I told my wife I felt like I found the Bible. I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. No, thank you so much for bringing that up. Actually, I think I brought it
you
up.
brought it up. I just piggybacked
But
on
we
it.
did not talk beforehand. Like,
No,
this
we
is
didn't.
Totally
No,
random.
not at all.
He did send me an email and told me what to
No,
talk
he
about.
Yeah.
didn't.
James, this is what we need to talk about. So, okay, 2021, you got in trouble with the tax. You weren't putting money aside. You were putting it aside, but you weren't paying
Right.
your sales tax.
Right.
So that's where we left off.
So they came knocking on the door and they wanted their money, and I was like, oh my God, And we had put away some cash, so I had the money to pay them, but I felt like a complete idiot, especially to this young lady. I was like, man, I can't believe I let that slip through. But it was something that I did. You don't know what you don't know, right? And of course, I quickly got that
Until
in
you
order.
know.
Until you know.
Yeah.
Until somebody's
someone
knocking
knocks
on your door
door.
and like, hey,
Yeah.
give me the money.
Yeah.
So that's not in the checklist of opening a restaurant. And when you guys do this restaurant Profit First, put that in the checklist.
Right.
Talk about that. Because no checklist did I find that.
Yeah.
Nowhere
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
So I found how to open a restaurant online. So I went through these checklists and just was following the checking off the different parts.
On that checklist, I think we were talking about EIN and like you didn't find that. But what else did you like? Was there a resource, a person that you thought was like really great, like a consultant that's putting content out or a podcast you're listening to?
At that time, no. Because I was super focused on the marketing side of it, that I wasn't thinking about the restaurant side of it. Okay. And I felt like I had the marketing side myself. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build this thing out. And I'm going to just, tell everybody and market it. But I should have listened or find some resources on the inside workings of the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Right. Which I did.
What were the biggest challenges for you? You already talked about costing.
Portioning, waste. Waste was huge.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is, we were overcooking, right? So every night we didn't know what to cook. We didn't know what we didn't have any benchmark numbers to say, all right, on weekends we should make this amount. Yeah. Right. On weekdays we should. So we were making the same thing every day. Yeah. Whatever we made for a weekend, we would make for a Monday. Yeah. And at the end of the night, we had bins of food left over.
Yeah. You also don't have any sales data yet.
No data.
Exactly.
So they say it's better to sell out than it is to have to throw food.
See that's good to know. I didn't know that at first.
I mean, ideally, you don't want to sell out because you're missing out on potential revenue there.
It's better than throwing food away.
Right.
Yeah. So we were throwing food away every night. Yeah. We were throwing food away. Now, what happened was, remember we sold out the first day.
Yeah, we were really excited.
And we were excited. We were like, all right, we need to order this much food next time. So we kept this
honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase. So we were up at this much food, whatever amount that was, for like 2-3 weeks and wasting probably half of it.
So how did that translate into dollar bills? Do you have any idea?
I can't tell you an exact amount, but if I had to say what was being taken away from the profit, I would say 10 to 15% of our money was being taken away in waste.
Wow. When did you start? Like, what changed? What was the tipping point for you guys?
Sure. So I was able to hire, not even a manager, right? It was just we hired some people.
Yeah. To take over our jobs,
right? And not a true manager.
What were your jobs at? Like, you're working in the business, so you were serving the food.
We're serving the food. We were prepping
at this point,
it's
just the two of you.
The three of us. My daughter.
Your daughter. How old is your daughter?
She was at that time.
16 at the time.
No, she was 15.
Oh, 15 at the time.
I think I was 12 when I started working with my parents. So, I mean, if it's family, there's no laws.
Yeah.
No laws.
And it was summertime because she was
I was
sitting
on milk crates doing
dishes.
Oh, wow.
You just inspired me. I got some young sons.
Get them to work, man.
Get them to work.
Lower that operational cost.
Go fry the fries. Who cares? The grease is hot. So it's us three.
That's why we have kids.
I told my wife I wanted more, so we can.
My goodness.
I told her I want to be like
ancient.
I encourage you.
So it can be like ancient times and like have the kids like work the farm, but instead of the farm they work in the Buena Papa.
Thing for kids though, honestly. It's
it is. You're right.
Teaches like, hey, you want to go to J. Crew?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will buy you clothes at Walmart, or you can come help out at the restaurant.
Yeah. Save some
what does
dimes.
What does a 15-year-old, 14-year-old need money for?
Nothing, because you're providing for them.
But if you pay them like whatever minimum wage is, and they have no other expenses in their life, they're gonna be balling.
Yeah, and they can buy the things that they want because they have everything they need.
Like, hey, friends, who wants to go to a movie? I don't have any money. I got you.
You're gonna popular kid now because you work a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
So but actually we didn't pay her. So
oh shit. Sorry, guys. I'll
She's getting paid now.
She's getting paid now, but she just got a room and board before. So
that's
so it was us three. And finally, we hired like 2 or 3 other folks, and not managers. So we're still managing, and we're still in the business. But that gave me like an hour to go look at the numbers really quick. Like, how are we doing? So once I started seeing that, I was like, wait a minute. We're doing something wrong. We're selling a lot, but we're not keeping a lot. So I have to figure that out. So over the next couple of months, I started looking into restaurant resources and financial resources for restaurants. To try to get a better handle on what was going on there.
Got it. And what did they tell you?
That's when I heard about portioning.
Yep.
I was like, we should have a standard portion.
Yeah.
And you bought a scale?
Yep.
I bought a scale.
Menu engineering.
I didn't get to that until like 6-7 months in.
Okay.
Yeah. That was still a new term. So I just found out about portioning. I was like, okay, let's start out with a portion.
Yeah. And here's the things that I really like about your concept when I came in that I think you're doing. You have options, but at the end of the day, you're really just focusing on doing one thing really well.
That's right.
And I've noticed that if you want to, there's no right way. There's no like. It all depends on what you really want to do at the end of the day. Like, what makes you happy? Do you want to be a fine dining restaurateur? go for it. Have fun.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. It's not for everybody. But if you want to grow a business that's profitable and that's scalable, focus your energy. Do one thing really well. What's your one thing? What's your one degree? What's your core focus?
That's real good stuff.
Put all of your energy in doing that one thing, all of your branding, everything.
And perfect it.
SEO, everything into this one thing. And you can go so much further and faster.
Exactly. And people think because you're narrowing yourself, you're limiting. It's actually you're expanding when you're narrowing.
Yeah. Yes. And you're selling potatoes. There's great money in potatoes. Great margins. Like I don't like. What's like? Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, I can talk about margins. Yeah. But let me take a step back before we get to the margins. What else I didn't know about was that I can negotiate with our suppliers. Didn't even think about it.
Like here's the rate. No, I don't want to pay that.
No, let's go lower. I was like, whatever the rate is, I'll pay it. So we were able to get our potatoes down, which is our main thing. But anyway, margins. So now we're at 28% food costs.
Wow.
Now, I had a consulting company come in probably about 8 months ago and help us with this. Before then, we were at like 37%. Yeah. Without portion sizes, without negotiating with our providers.
So you moved the 9 points.
Yeah, 9 points.
And that all went to profit?
All went to profit.
Nice.
And that's huge.
Nice. Where's your labor?
Labor right now, it's at 25%.
That's good.
Right? That's good. Before, my God.
Yeah.
So let's take them through this because this is important. Because when you're in a trial, like our trial was that we were in the restaurant. We were working, 16-hour days, this crazy amount. We pull ourselves out, and then we just start filling it in with staff. Filling it in just so we don't have to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Not thinking about labor costs. And we're not that, how much labor it takes to actually do that job. We didn't program that at all.
Really calculate that,
right?
yeah.
So now we're overpaying like huge amounts in labor costs. So when they first looked at our numbers, this consultant company, they saw us at it was like 38% labor costs, all right? We were giving people too many hours. We had too many people on staff at one time. So they helped us to dial it back and told us, this is what's actually needed to produce the amount of sales you need. This is how many people you need. This is how many hours you would actually need.
Do you know the name of this? Are you able to share the name of
Oh, sure. They're a consulting company out of Florida. Their name is Sherpa.
Sherpa.
Awesome.
A little nod to Sherpa. Thank
you,
help.
Sherpa. You help us make some money.
Yeah. So how did you start changing things with your labor to get to 25? Wait, was it 25? That was
no, labor's 25.
Yeah.
So what I did was the first thing is, and another hugely important thing is hire knowledgeable staff as far as management. So we brought in a GM, right? The GM had previous experience in our type of restaurant, costing out labor, costing out food, and we had just started learning about this stuff, right? So this GM came in and he was like, I told him this is where we need to be labor-wise. And he was like, well, yeah, I have this is what I did, exactly what I did at my other job. So he looked at our calendar and he was like, all right, how much do you sell on a weekday? And I was like, well, I don't know, 60, 70 orders. What do you do on the weekend? 300 to 400. So I'm just going to work backwards from there and fill in the hours. And I was like, oh, it sounds pretty simple. And kind of that's what he did. And that's what figured out and brought down our labor percentage.
Nice. So what about like your systems, processes, procedures, checklists? Where were you with that?
Oh, my God.
Operations.
Is this a comedy show? Because we had none of that in place. We had zero in place.
Well, I love this is one of the reasons why I love having people who are it's so fresh. 2 years.
Yeah.
Because like it's like it happened yesterday.
Oh,
and you're probably still like finding little
fine tuning
tweaks
it. Yeah,
sure.
There. Every day. So the first year we had we didn't have one procedure in place, one policy, one checklist.
I mean, we had them, but we would either
we were doing it.
Yeah, we were doing it, or
You-
we would tell someone to do it. But obviously, that would just kind of.
But you had it. Like the only way they would know is by you telling them.
Us telling them.
You were the operations manual.
Exactly.
You were a people-dependent operation, not a system.
Not a good idea.
And the sad thing and funny thing about this was that we knew all about procedures and checklists because we came from a service business, which we had our employees do it, right? But I couldn't think outside of the Papa. Again, outside of the mess we were in at that time.
So close to it that you can't see.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I got a chance to take a step back, I was like, you know what? We can kind of reverse engineer some of the things we did at the maid service, because we didn't have the knowledge of checklists of a restaurant. So we were like, let's just take some of the things we have in our head and write it down and have them do it.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
That's literally
Yeah,
what
exactly.
am I doing?
Yeah.
First I do this.
Exactly.
Then
And
I do
do
this.
that.
Yeah.
And then that's the baseline. Like the most big, like first I unlock the door.
Right.
Then I
Yeah.
turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Then I turn the oven on.
Exactly.
Like it's just like it seems silly,
Right.
But it isn't.
but you're not creating it for you.
Right.
You're
right.
creating it for that person who's just starting.
Just starting. They know
and
nothing about
they
this.
don't
And
know.
eventually, like they don't have to use the checklist. They have to do everything,
Right.
and then they verify with the checklist.
Exactly.
They back
exactly.
themselves up. Like,
Yes.
oh, I forgot. Like, check. Oh, did I do that? Oh,
Yeah.
shit, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's what I learned and what's helping us now, and probably your listeners know this already, but there's no scaling without processes and procedures.
Right.
You're not going anywhere.
And you are trying to scale.
Oh, we're trying to scale.
So
we're
I'm-
scaling.
We're scaling.
I mean, looking,
Unstoppable.
Yeah, looking at let's see here. I took some notes for today's conversation. So I'm really far away from my computer right now for the people who are listening to this.
He's like Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah,
out
he
there.
is.
But I mean, where you are right now is with your franchise. Sorry, I took notes, but like, where are you? Like, I feel like we're kind of jumping ahead right now.
Yeah.
But like, where are you today? Paint that picture of where you are today to give the listeners an
Okay.
idea of how much you've grown in such
All
a
right.
short
Yeah.
period.
So in the last 2.5 years, not a full 3 years yet, we have 3 corporate locations, and I'll break that down. So we have one at a food hall, we have one in a food court in a mall, and we have what's called a licensing location, which is in an arena. So we're in a stadium. Yeah, PNC Arena.
Hurricanes, right?
The Carolina
Yes.
Hurricanes Arena. So
The official French fry.
the
That's
official
right.
French fry.
Shout
That's
out
pretty big.
to
man, you know.
PNC Arena.
Shout out to them. And so 3 official corporate locations. We're 95% of the way there on our Miami Wynwood location,
Yes.
and we're really excited about that. And outside of that, we have 2 official franchises signed, and 2 more. Actually, wow.
Today.
No, hold on a second.
Oh, sorry.
Because it's going to get even better. 2 more in the wings. We're waiting for their FTD to come back signed, and we're meeting with 2 more today in discovery meetings.
What are your concerns with franchising, if any?
Well, my concern would have been 6 months ago that our processes and procedures weren't there, but now we've ironed that all out. We have a whole system in place that's digitized because we like to be digital about our work and what we're doing, because it just makes it a lot easier than giving a PDF manual to somebody.
Yeah.
We take them through steps. We hold their hands through the whole process.
There's checklists.
There's checklists. There's procedures.
Yeah. So
There's videos.
in the email I got when I first discovered you guys, that you have this turnkey franchising operations manual,
Right.
and your franchise team.
Right.
So, or is this outsourced? Do you
Yes,
have-
outsource.
Who are you working with to franchise?
So we work with the independent franchise development person. His name is. Can I say his name? I don't know. We're gonna hold off on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll hold off on that. But we're working with an independent person who's very thorough in what he does as far as franchise sales and development. We also have a team, a real estate team that finds the locations, and we also have a project manager that walks everyone through our program until opening.
Now, were you recruited? You approach somebody?
For
Like, were somebody saying, "Hey, like I love your concept.
no!
We would love to
this is a good story
represent
too.
you."
No.
Okay.
So again, you got to remember my brain. My brain is always going. So the first day this thing sold out, I was like, "Honey, this needs to be a franchise."
Yeah.
You know? So did I know how to make a franchise? No, not at all. But anyway, this is, I don't know if you guys call it the universe, God, or whatever. We had one break after like 3 months in the business.
That's right.
And we took a drive down to Carolina Beach.
yeah.
Curry Beach. And we were down there driving, talking about our business or whatever. And a Land Rover drove by. And on the back of the Land Rover, it was like, "We franchise restaurants." And I was like, "Oh, we got to talk to that guy." So guess what I did? So I put, she'll verify the
I was
story.
there.
Pull over.
Yeah, I start beeping her. She's like, "What are you doing? You're crazy."
Yeah. So the car. So we're next to the car,
Uh-huh.
and it's summertime, so the windows are up,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on the phone. The air conditioner is like blasting, you
Yeah.
know, and the car is like going like this, like
Back and forth,
back
yeah.
and forth. And James is like, he's driving. He's like, babe, babe, babe.
Yeah, so-
and he's trying to get his attention, and this gentleman is just like, looking straight.
Did you have AirPods in or something?
No, he was on the phone. I guess.
He was on the phone.
Yeah.
You could see him like this.
And so, of course, no one should be beeping you off the road, at the beach. So that's kind of weird. You wouldn't want to stop for that kind of person,
No,
I wouldn't have stopped.
I don't think
it's probably like I probably cut this guy off.
So anyway, he had his information on the back of his car. So I snapped a picture of it, and after following him for a mile, I was like, let's leave him alone. I'll just call and leave him a message. So I called him from the road. Hey, my name is James. I own this restaurant.
I was
concept.
that maniac that was his honker.
I was the maniac. I'm the one. Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, when you get a chance, give me a call. I want to talk to you about our business. And so now we're driving back to Raleigh, and like 20 minutes in, we get a call.
Yeah.
And it's this guy, and he was like, I got a call from you. You were the guy beeping at me. I was like, I'm the guy. And I was like, he's like, tell me about yourself, because if you're crazy enough to beep at me like that, you must have a crazy concept.
Yeah.
So I spill it. I throw up the concept to him over the phone, like in a 10-minute conversation. He's like, this sounds pretty good. He was like, I work with emerging concepts. Right now, I'm working with this peach cobbler concept, and I would love to meet with you guys. So we set up a meeting like the next week.
Yeah.
So now that goes back to listen in restaurateurs or potential restaurateurs, the ready, shoot, aim. Like I had no idea what I was going to say to this guy. But if I see an opportunity, and if you see an opportunity, you got to jump on it. You never know if it's going to come again, right? Of course, we talked about this franchising thing, but I had no knowledge of how I was going to do this thing. So the first time I seen something, I just hopped on it, good or bad, right? And it turned out to be good, right? So we meet, and I'll fast forward through the story. We end up partnering together. He loves the concept, and he walks through and gets the whole FDD done. Yeah, that's his part of the business.
What's FDD?
FDD is a federal disclosure document that you have to file with the government in the process of creating franchises. Okay, right? It's like 100-page document. Yeah, exactly.
This is why you outsource.
This is why you outsource. There's a lot of legal schmiegel stuff in there. Yeah. But it really just talks about the restaurant brand. It talks about the background, the operations. So he helped build all that stuff out, which would have took me, 4 or 5 years to even get to that. Yeah. So we got to that within our first year, right? So he helped build that out. And
what was his advice to you? Like, how long into your operation did you honk this guy off the road?
Wow, that's interesting. So it probably had to be in the springtime, not summer. So. Probably like 6 months in.
6 months in?
6 months in. Right. In our first restaurant. Yeah.
And what was his feedback to you? Like, do you need to lock this in before you start to scale it?
No. So his feedback was something we discussed earlier. He's like, "What are your numbers?
Yeah.
What are your percentage? What are your labor?" This is the first time I heard these things. What's your labor percentage? I was like, I don't know. What's your food cost? I have no idea.
Yeah. So he was like, that's what happens when you shoot.
Yeah.
You fall on your face a couple times, and you're like. Oh,
exactly.
But but if you never shoot,
I would have never got there.
Yeah, you don't know how to adjust.
Exactly. So he tells me all these things. He said, well, we have to find out what these numbers are before we can move forward, because everyone needs to know this. They're not going to want to do business with you. So that's what's kind of propelled that journey to figure out our numbers, figure out portioning, make it better, make it more attractive to future franchisors. Yeah.
Joanna, I haven't given you much time to talk.
I'm a blabbermouth.
So is there anything that's been going through your mind that you want to contribute, or like from your perspective, what was it like having this ambitious husband, James, just like pulling the trigger on things?
Be honest, honey. Be honest. Just tell the dirty stuff. Tell the dirty stuff.
Oh wow! I mean, it's been a crazy ride.
Yeah.
I mean, as I sit here on another crazy ride as far as like franchising and that sort of thing, I could look back. Even when we were dating, he's always been like that. Today he has a words to that strategy, but he's always been like that.
Yeah, you're an entrepreneur. You're for sure
born.
Yeah. We're not easy to hang out with.
Nah, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
We're off the hinge.
And I think for me, obviously I have to be patient, right? Yeah. But that's my nature. But it works as far as like my patience to his craziness.
Nah, tell him about your fears, man. Let's get real.
It's been crazy. Like I said, a crazy ride, but it's been crazy scary. There's been, I'm just saying as me, right? Like there's been some tears, there's been some few breakdowns, and yes, we definitely have arguments or discussions or whatever.
What were the breaking points for you?
Definitely, I think for me as a woman, probably financially, he's all in. He's all in, you know. And
I'll sell my kid to push this thing forward, you know.
No,
so
you're not gonna sell Jakey.
Oh, okay. I'm willing to, you know.
But you know, but he is all in, and what I love and respect about him is that, you know, there is no plan. I didn't always love and respect this part, but there is no plan B. Right. So, but when he thinks of the plan A, he thinks of his wife, he thinks of his children, he thinks of his mother, you know, of his father, you know, like it has to work. It has to work. So even if he falls on his face, even if he has to get a little bit red on the cheeks because he got embarrassed because he didn't know a term, you know, it's like this has to work, and he'll push it and push it and push it until it works. And really, I mean, today he takes bigger risks, I would say, but I feel like I've learned also how to be more of a risk taker because I feel comfortable that he's going to get it done. You know? Yeah.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah, and you guys are at 3 locations now. Yeah. So is the financial situation leveling out for you, or are you like me, and whenever things get easier, you're like, well, let's push the envelope.
Well, you just said it, man. You just said it. So I think we're brothers. So somehow we're brothers in the universe.
I think I understand.
I'm just like you. So yeah, so we're making tons of money, right? And I'm like, yo, let's open up a bunch more restaurants, right? Yeah. But this is another thing, and so I have this idea. Let's keep pushing the envelope, right? Open up restaurants. So I go to the banks and I'm like, you know, I don't want to use my cash. I want to get a loan. I want to be traditional. I want to, you know, just go like a traditional marriage and be like, you know, no, it didn't work that way. So I go to the banks and they're like, yeah, but you guys are still considered a startup, so we can't give you a traditional loan. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, but now I'm married to these ideas I want to do. So I go to her and I'm like, all right, you know, we got a big pile of cash in the bank, honey. I said I wasn't gonna touch it, but now I'm gonna touch it. Was that?
Is this the money from the disaster relief and all that?
No. The pile of money is the money we've made, the profit from the company.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we're making a lot of money from the company, and I'm like, I didn't want to touch it. I wanted to just kind of save that money and, you know, have profit to the side, right?
The money you're not supposed to touch.
Money I'm not supposed to touch.
If you're buying assets.
Well, yeah, that time I didn't know, right? So, but my dream was to get a nice SBA loan, you know, the white picket fence. Just have a smooth monthly payment, but that didn't work out, right? They told me that we're still in startup, and I didn't even consider that. So I don't know. This is again directed to you and your listeners. I don't know how the whole business plan thing works when you take your business plan to the bank. We did that, and they told us no every time. Yeah. So one time I sat down my banker. I was like, "What do I need to do? We're making tons of money, and you guys still won't give us a loan. I don't get it."
I mean, I think, especially during, I don't know, the pandemic, I feel like people were like, especially with restaurants.
Yeah.
It was a hard time for anybody to get money, honestly. Yeah. So I don't think you were alone.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just me.
No. I mean, unless the people, like, what banks want, they want to know they're not investing in your vision.
No, they're not. I thought they were.
They're investing in the person and the experience that person has.
Right.
And that's what they're gambling on.
And they're investing in hard numbers.
Yeah. So
previous 2 years.
What they want to know is, who did you work for? How many restaurants have you opened for other people?
I gotcha.
And like, have you done this? Like, have you been a part of a restaurant opening team? And do you know step by step exactly? Do you know about costing?
And guess what? All my answers were no.
So like that's what. So like I think that's, you know, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So you're definitely not alone.
Okay.
If I can reassure you.
Thank you for reassuring me. Yeah, so they didn't give us any money, so we used our own money to open up the second location. We're using our own money again to open up the Miami location. So what does that do? That drains cash flow. Yeah. Because we're taking cash flow out of the business and putting it into another business, and that's not always the smartest way to go about it. But we're in such not a tight. Well, they won't give us a loan. We got to use our own money. That's just, you know.
Yeah. So to use this money, the profit that you were putting away, right? Were you putting away a percentage?
No, at that time, no.
Okay.
All right.
What were you spending that money on? What were you looking to invest in? I think I cut you off too.
No. So we didn't really so we were making a lot of money and we didn't spend a lot either. We just kept our same lifestyle. You know, we owned a home already, so we didn't buy anything new. So that's why the money was able to accumulate at such a high rate that we were like, wow, we could take that big chunk and open up another business.
This is a huge lesson that we kind of skipped over, and something I used to talk about a lot. If you want to open a restaurant, first step, look at your life and how do you get as lean as possible.
That's good. That's good.
Can you pay off your cars? Can you pay off your mortgage? Can you sell shit that you don't need? Can you eliminate any monthly payments of things that really just you don't need?
Good advice, guys.
Very
just
good
limit.
advice.
Yeah, get to the point where you can live in a shell.
Exactly.
Because you might have to.
You might have to.
Or in a hut.
Or in a hut. That's my dream.
And look at yourself and figure out how can I get as lean as possible so I don't have that I don't have to depend on the business.
Right.
So the business can take care of taking care of my people and all the other expenses until it like that. You need a good year of runway before business starts to pick up.
Yeah.
1 year?
1 year? How about 2 weeks? We need 2 weeks. We started with 2 weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, but you also are in a food court.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
food
costs.
hall.
Yeah. And costs were a lot lower.
Yeah, you're doing one thing really well. So that's another reason why I love your concept is because it could get lean. It's not a hungry beast.
No, not at all. Not at all. With potatoes being the main star, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So I don't think we got too much into it, but so now what is Buena Papa today?
So Buena Papa now is,
as far as the food goes.
As far as the food, so Buena Papa is a fusion of Latin inspired meals that are on top of fries.
You have American too.
We have American too. And well, actually, let's talk about that. So we ran into like a wall with the Latin food, right? It's like, all right, so you can only put so many dishes on top of Latin dishes on top of fries, and I'm sure people want to eat other things. So our customers started speaking to us, right? Hey, do you guys serve this? Do you guys serve that? And we're like, wow, I guess we could serve that, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't go too far outside of our zone of ingredients. Yeah, thank you, honey. And so we were able to expand the menu that way. And going forward with our franchises and new stores, we're going to be able to offer limited time offers, and see what performs and see what's not performing, and be able to replace those dishes. So we got a lot smarter with our menu now. Yeah.
Got it. I think I pulled you down this little rabbit hole talking about the food, and you were telling me about finances and what you were spending the money on. And then you mentioned, I got into the whole like example of like get as lean as you can personally.
Yeah.
And I think I might have taken you off a train of thought.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
So,
where were we now? So
what were you spending your money on? Like, you're pulling from the profit. Like, was it to open the second location?
Open second location. Yeah. So we pull from profit, pull all our profit really, and open the second location in Durham.
Is Durham also in a food hall?
Durham is in a food court. So
Okay.
it's a popular mall, South Point Mall in Durham, North Carolina, and we're in the food court.
What do you think about malls in general right now? Are they an area that is a good place to be?
Good question.
With,
I like that.
With retail kind of struggling?
That's a beautiful question. We have this discussion nightly, at least once a week. I think malls, they had their heyday, right? Yeah. Now we notice that consumer buying is transitioning to online, and malls just have it's less traffic in malls. Going forward, what I wanted to do with Buena Papa was prove it in different areas. So we proved it in a food hall. Now we got it in the mall. Now going forward, would I want to market to malls? I don't think so. I don't think so.
You know what I would love to see happen in malls? I would love them to be local markets. I'd love to see corporate America take a hike out of there.
Yeah.
And then just have it be a space for like local artisans and food,
like that.
like food halls.
That would work,
I think it's an opportunity it's the infrastructure.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah.
And like artists and
it's just
purveyors.
a rebirth and move around things so that it can be that.
But like that's an opportunity. I think people want that sort of thing, and those local companies don't necessarily have the resources to have the infrastructure to do massive shipping and like
exactly,
digital, but it's also a way for people to come together.
That's what it's all about. We talk about that all the time, and we feel like this is one thing we like about Miami. There's a place in Miami called what is it?
Wynwood.
No, Miracle Mile.
Oh, Miracle Mile, yeah.
And it's an outside mall, right? So it's people walking and people interacting, and so you take the mall and you kind of invert it, right? So now everything's outside, and people, I see that the nature of people, they want to come together and they want to intercommingle with each other. And
I think of like East Asia. I spent some time in Thailand.
Oh wow,
nice.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
the markets
outside
there,
markets.
The community there. It's so great,
right?
And like they're packed.
Yeah.
They're packed. People go to these things. They support each other. The sense of communities,
and it's for everybody.
Right.
You know, you're not just going to purchase, I don't know, something from you can buy food. You can buy a local jewelry piece.
Yeah.
You know.
So we know a little bit about this because in Colombia they have them.
Yeah.
I was curious about Latin America.
Yeah, they have them. Don't you remember?
Oh, I love the markets in Colombia. I love them. You know, and you're right. We should adopt that model here in America, and a lot more local companies will flourish.
There's so many voids in the malls right now. It's like if this was a trend where it's just like you have like this empty space, more food courts, more food purveyors, not necessarily like food, like hot food, but like the people that make the ingredients, like the honey.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
The syrup,
you
know, like
a market style.
Yeah,
market style.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Anyway, I progress.
Corporate America,
That's
listen.
not what we're here to talk about. But I would love to see that.
Yeah.
So what is your strategy going forward? So you have the third location is a sports arena.
The arena is killing it. So Buena Papa, this concept is made for arenas.
Yes.
You know, it's quick bite food. It's handheld. You can cheer for your team in one hand. You're screaming, and the fries aren't falling in your other hand.
Yeah.
And you get an expanded taste palette. You're not just getting the hot dog or sausage. You know, you're getting these fries, and you can make them however you want them, right?
Yeah.
So it really lends itself to these stadiums. It was a runaway success, like immediately, and we were actually surprised by it.
Yeah,
we
were.
So definitely going forward, we will push potential franchisees.
Look out, Panthers.
Look up, Panthers.
Ooh, yes, we're coming.
Where do they play?
In Charlotte.
Is it? I don't know.
I think Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlotte. So every stadium, Buena Papa needs to be there. So we're going to preach that across the country. So anyone's listening, please bring a Buena Papa to your stadium.
What are the Carolinas? So you have the Hurricanes, the Panthers.
Right.
Football? Wait,
Panthers.
Yes,
Panthers.
I'm to say basketball.
We have a
Hornets?
basketball team?
Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
So that's Charlotte as well. Charlotte's it's actually the biggest city. Raleigh's the capital, but Charlotte's like the biggest.
Get in there,
city.
man.
We're coming.
Come in, Charlotte.
Yeah. So what's the strategy going forward for growth?
Sure. So the idea now is to focus on franchising because we can only stretch ourselves so far in the corporate stores, and we don't have a corporate team yet to handle the weight that it takes to keep opening stores, if that makes sense. But we know with franchising, we can take our process and we can place it in someone's lap and guide them through that process, and they're the machine behind it, but it's being curated by us.
Yeah.
So we like that idea of growth.
Does anything scare you about franchising?
You know, I've done a lot of research on this, and I get afraid of quality, and you can have control of quality to a certain extent with checklists and procedures, but it's really about screening the potential franchisees to make sure that, they have that experience, or if they had general business experience in general, that they can get to the product that needs to be put out. That makes sense?
Yeah. I see people get in trouble with franchising because generally people who are drawn to franchising, franchisees, are looking for fast, easy money.
Right.
And they don't necessarily have your culture. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you say it's about screening. And really franchising, but like being super selective.
Exactly.
Like just because you have the money to buy in doesn't mean that we're going to agree. Like we have to let you.
Yeah, because you can kill the brand that way.
Exactly.
Kill the brand.
It's the fastest way to destroy a brand.
Yeah.
And what about like?
That's huge.
We had a conversation about it the other night, so that's why.
Yeah.
We don't want to mention any names,
fresh.
but we were studying.
I would
a
love
case study.
I think you guys are amazing people. I know a lot of people that know a lot about scaling concepts, and I'm happy to introduce you to anybody who I've ever had.
I like introductions, please.
Yeah. Just you're great people. I can tell.
Anything
I can do to support you guys, please do not hesitate to use me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I did notice, and I was curious where you were opening the franchises, and I was really happy to see that the majority of them are in Carolina.
Yes.
Why that?
Well, I mean, that's where our footprint is now. You know, people know us here, and that's kind of, I guess, where we're getting our first customers from, because they know the brand, they've seen the brand, and they feel confident that it could work in their area, right? And we feel confident about those areas because we put eyes on those areas.
Yeah, we're here.
So that's why most of them are in Carolina right now.
Yep. I think it's good. I think it's good to grow a brand locally and to get a cult following locally.
I like that.
To the point where where people, when they leave and they go, oh, I miss my
I wish it
Buena
was here.
Papa.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah.
they find out it's coming to, like, you know.
Yeah.
But people tend to move. They'll move a few cities over before they move a few states over.
I got
Yes.
You know,
I
so
got
like
you.
if
Yeah.
you can get that it's like they call it centrifugal circles.
Mm.
So like starting here and just going a little bit further out, a little bit further out, a little bit further out.
That's good advice, man.
Check out the episode I did with I can't remember the name of the concept. It's a burger concept in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Oh man,
You can
I should be able to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I'll tell you guys
Yeah.
later. But they had like 17 locations in
Wow.
Austin, Texas alone before they went to a different city. And the
That's
next
pretty
city
amazing.
was San Antonio, which is
Yeah.
the next closest city.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So like I think it's just, and like they were literally putting concepts on a different side. Like there would be a bridge over a river, and there'd be why can't I think of the name? I love this place too.
yeah.
It's killing me. I could go back to Austin and reconnect with my Austin people so I can remember this shit. But they would have the concept over a bridge. On the other side of the bridge, they would have another concept.
Wow.
Because people in cities generally tend to not go over the bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so
yeah.
like, I think it's just really smart, like slow, thoughtful,
Growth.
impactful
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah.
It's oh my god, I can't believe.
Well, I know one thing we know about Buena Papa, and you know, we like to be prideful about our little baby here, but we know that, you know, we can't stack a city with 5 Buena Papas.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for the type of brand we are.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
It's a novel concept, and it's a delicious concept, but I can't see people eating it every day. So
Right.
so that's why we're very selective about what cities it's going
Yes.
to, and not trying to bunch them up together.
I'm sure you guys have given it lots of thought.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have. We have.
Anything we haven't discussed up to this point that you were hoping would come out of our conversation that
Let's
hasn't?
see. We talked about our trials, our
Yes.
tribulations.
Lots of trials.
We talked about our successes.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about our franchise growth.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, we covered a good amount.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it's important and I like that you brought this up and that you made us vulnerable on a lot of these topics, because this is not something we talk about openly. We talk about this, you know, this is our pillow talk.
Yes.
This is that kitchen table talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish someone would have talked to me about it,
Yeah.
you know, and I could have avoided some of these pitfalls.
Well,
Yeah,
it gets
for
us in
sure.
trouble. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things, like, we're so, I don't know if it's pride or if it's ego
Yeah.
or if it's fear of competition.
Mm.
And there's also, we're such a heads down industry.
Yeah.
You said it yourself, like the first few months,
Oh, yeah.
the year, like you're just in it.
In the
In
papa.
it.
And you're
In the
so
papa.
heads down that you don't have time to come up and just to talk.
Right.
And the restaurant industry is notorious for being behind the technological curve too, and adopting resources to learn.
Right,
from. So, but it's changing, and there are resources out there right now, and
Yep.
people
That's right.
are
Yeah.
realizing that we do go further together, and that like we need that emotional support.
Exactly.
You know,
Everything
so-
is not competition.
Yeah,
You know, we
like,
can help each
and
other.
if you're listening to this, don't be afraid to go talk to the people down the street.
No, not at all.
And it's always the people, those cliques that everyone's like, oh, they're a clique.
Mm.
Are they a clique, or are you just afraid to go introduce
Exactly.
yourself? And are they actually great people
They could be great people.
that are willing to
You know,
help
we
you
got
out?
our biggest help, like I said, from our neighbor here inside of
Yeah.
our restaurant
Mm-hmm.
to help us with pricing,
Yeah.
which we didn't know, and he didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to.
Yeah, so
He
that
could've
was our
ignored
first
us.
help. Yeah, he
Like,
could
like everybody else did.
So if the mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry, how have the two of you personally transformed over the recent year?
our personal transformations.
Yeah.
Wow. I've dialed back on my my shooting before aiming. I guess once I got into the sphere that I need to be in, now I'm more careful about my steps I'm taking, right? Because this is growing so fast, and we see it growing so huge. I want to make sure that we're dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, and we're bringing other people into this. So we want to make sure they have a soft ground to land on and a fertile ground. So now that I have other lives besides my wife and my daughter at stake, I'm taking my time more and being more procedural about things, more intentional about things as I go forward.
Nice.
So that's how I've changed.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to share, Joanna?
Wow. I mean, I think I would be probably a little bit more opposite.
Yeah.
Just because, right, yin yang kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
that's what it is. Yeah.
That I am more of a risk taker, trying to find myself, connect with myself, and really feel like I have something to say and just say it.
So we're also here to transform the industry.
Right.
And in your brief time in the industry, almost 3 years, what do you think could change about the industry? How can we improve the industry?
Wow, as a whole?
Yeah. How can we go into the future more intentional instead of reactional? And I think the industry has been really guilty of being reactional for a long time.
Right.
We're fear-based. We react. Like, oh, do I need to do this? Like, oh, do I need to, like, I don't know. I just think we're constantly reacting ourselves into corners.
You know what? I would be more if I'm looking on from the outside in, I would be more adopt technology faster.
Yes.
Adopt new things faster because it's gonna come, right?
So what technology are you adopting right now? What's got you super excited?
I'm excited about. Well, I don't know if you're business owners, you're gonna be excited about this, but if you're a customer, maybe not. Kiosk. So
are you using kiosks?
Not yet, but we've purchased them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're
Who'd
going to
you
be
go
rolling. Toast has their own kiosk system, Toast POS system. So we're going to go with Toast. And, we figured out that it's just going to be, first of all, studies show that customers purchase more when just have it in front of them.
The upsell's built in.
Upsell's built in.
You got these fries. Do you want sour cream with that? Do you want guacamole with that? Do you want, some people suggest getting this with that.
Right.
It's built in.
And you don't have to train the kiosk like you're doing,
Right.
If your employee forgets to upsell, the kiosk is already upselling, right? So I'm excited about that just as a profit standpoint.
Yeah.
And just for, just to make things
less
labor.
There's another thing for
less labor.
And it's kind of like people are like, what about the jobs?
Yeah. But when I go to Walmart, I put my own groceries, I scan my own things, and I like it. Yeah. So and I'm pretty sure it's helped Walmart's bottom line, and I'm looking forward to helping Buena Papa's bottom line as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other technology that gets you super excited, like that you're looking to pivot to?
You've
recently adopted.
We made a joke about ChatGPT earlier and AI. I'm really excited about AI. What I tell my wife and we bring first of all, this is a family business. Our kids, we have meetings every Saturday. Usually, right now we'll be having a meeting with our kids, a finance meeting about our business and ideas that they have. Because I don't think we should neglect young people because they're the future. They're the ones playing with this technology. So we ask them about it. But ChatGPT. So don't close your eyes, right? There's useful methods we can use it right now, right? I plan out my social media posts right now with that, right? It's a little.
I should probably start using ChatGPT.
You should, man.
It's social media.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not pushing back, but I'm kind of just like, my whole thing is like, I'm here to challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
I'm here to like poke the beast.
Okay, I like that.
I like that. I do agree. I use AI at Restaurant Unstoppable. I found a software that plugs into Adobe Audition or Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
My video editing software.
Yeah.
That you literally line up the audio, the video clip, and it tells you say like who's on line one, who's on or who's on track one, who's on track two.
Yeah.
And then in seconds.
Wow.
It will edit a 2-hour-long conversation with camera angles.
How can you beat that?
That's crazy.
So like I get
Yeah.
I get it. What is the ramifications of the AI going to be?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, jobs are going to be lost, right?
Jobs are going to be lost. You're talking about using AI for social media. Do we remember the origin of social media? Well, we're going back to 2000,
Facebook?
4, 5.
Yeah.
Where there was a person on the other side
to connect with.
Who was looking to socialize.
Well,
and there was media.
That's out the window now.
With
it. It's out the window now. Man.
It's just, I'm not going to argue the significance of social media and how important it is, and I think it is necessary, and I think that that's a true statement is a problem.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
So there's that, and now we're adding. It's already a problem.
Yeah.
There's already people on the other side who aren't trying
Engaged.
to socialize with us. They're trying to manipulate us.
Wow.
Including the platform that it's built on.
No, you're right. You're right about all that.
And then we're gonna add AI on top of that. Where it's just like, why are we even here?
We're taking all the human aspect out of everything, right?
It's like, can we just step back for a second, people, and like really like ask ourselves, what the heck are we
What's going
doing?
On? No, you're right about all that, but have you ever tried to stop a wave from coming in when you're at the beach?
I go up a fucking mountain, bro. I stay away from the beach. I don't like sharks.
I don't like sharks. That's good. That's good.
I hang out at the lake.
Well,
man.
that's very smart. But I just feel like this whole world's an ocean, and waves are gonna just keep hitting us.
Guess
You know what I mean?
man? Like, civilizations have been wiped out because they live on the ocean.
Bro. You're right, man.
Look at friggin', if you believe in this stuff, I don't know if the Younger's Dryas theory of like,
I don't know it.
Like there's a theory coming out right now, and this is speculation.
Okay.
It hasn't been proven, but there's a lot of like that a meteor hit the polar ice caps around 12,000 years ago, and that there was civilization. And the reason why we can't explain like the pyramids and these things that just don't make any sense, and they're like, well, it must have been aliens, or maybe there was advanced civilization before 10,000 years ago, before the quote unquote agricultural revolution, and that there was a catastrophic event that wiped out civilization.
I'll go with that.
And where does the majority of civilization live? On the ocean, bro.
On the ocean.
Think of every major city in the world.
You need access to the water.
And when a 400-foot wave comes,
man,
called AI,
you want to be on the mountain.
I'm gonna be on the fucking mountain.
I want to be on the mountain. That's good. That's good, bro.
And it's just like,
you know what? The thing is, to survive, I like what you're saying, but I think you got to play both areas. You got to play the beach and the mountain, because your business needs to survive out here. But I get what you're saying. Personally, be on that mountain.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we stand. We don't want to be Blockbuster, but we still want to play around with Netflix.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's crazy is like I'm still jacked up on the Younger's Dryas theory.
So, yeah.
There's like ancient like stories in history, and like the Bible like points back to floods and shit.
Oh, yeah,
that all take place around the time that this would have happened.
That's crazy.
And there's
bro.
there's geological evidence that something catastrophic happened in North America.
That's what I said. I'll go with that all day.
There's a lot of scientists that are like, this is blah, blah, blah. But there are also scientists that are making money on their theories. So of course, you got to look at things from the big picture.
Yeah.
There's so much information out there today. It's overwhelming.
It is.
But, I mean, it's weird. Like, yes, you need to leverage technology, because if you don't, you're going to become a dinosaur.
Behind. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, can we collectively go, wait a second, everybody?
You ever try to take a group family picture?
No.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like to get everybody looking the same way at the same time.
What's the balance is my question.
I don't know, man.
How do we leverage technology, but how do we not let it
overtake?
Yeah.
People need purpose.
You're right.
Yeah, they
You're
do.
right.
And when we don't have purpose because technology and robots can do things better than us, what are we going to do? How are we going to be happy? Mental illness is already a thing that's out of control.
You're right.
I don't mean to be like...
No, this is serious stuff, bro.
Yeah.
But this is kind of why I'm like, well, are we just like what... Do we all do the best thing for us right now? Or do we take a few steps back and go, is that the best thing for us?
That's the intelligent
10
way.
years from now?
That's the intelligent way to go about it.
And let's just tap the brakes and go together, so we're not trying to kill each other, and we're going.
Listen, if you start the revolution, I'll join the revolution.
I'm doing it, man. You just signed up.
Listen, I'm in, and I'll follow your lead. We should get the rest of the people into this thing.
I just think people need to talk.
Yeah.
You know, we really need to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Is this better?
Because things are moving so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
And we're fear-based. Everything's fear-based. We're humans, and that's like, we have this frontal lobe, and it's beautiful because it lets us plan and project, but it also is like just filthy covered with fear and emotion and anxiety that makes us do things because we're afraid if we don't, we're in trouble.
And we herd mentality. We go where the herd's going.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, that's good.
We can talk forever about this stuff, but I think it's important to play devil's advocate.
Yeah,
for
sure. Yeah.
Wait a second, people. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
I don't got them either. Yeah. But until these AI become, they're walking and they're lifting things and doing the things that we're actually physically doing, that's when I start getting scared. But I think I should get scared before.
What's scary is all the elements are there.
They're all there.
The robotics are there.
Mm-hmm.
The AI is there. And what they call these slingshot events, or when certain certain things collide and they propel each other because they both have momentum.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my daughter talk about this all the time.
I love this.
It's
stuff.
interesting.
I geek out hard about this.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
We're brothers.
Yeah, man. We're gonna be good friends. I'm getting your phone number before.
Let's do it.
We're gonna take one more break to thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back to bust out a speed round.
That's right.
We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that right now, Restaurant Systems Pro is offering a no-strings-attached 60-day trial that will help you improve your systems, increase your profit, and find better work-life balance All you have to do is click the link below.
We're back, and the first question I have for you is, what is your it factor, habit, a trait, a characteristic you believe most contributes to your success?
Oh, the ability to not take no for an answer.
Ooh, Johanna, do you have one?
Wow. A grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your biggest weakness?
Procrastination.
Amen, brother.
Here we go. Here it is.
Johanna.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah. What is one question you ask or thing you look for when you're growing your team?
I always look for eye contact. I feel like if I can see into somebody's eyes, I can kind of see deeper into them. Yeah. Yeah. So if they're kind of looking away, I'm like, it questions like what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some people struggle with eye contact.
I know.
Like really great people too. And I'm not going to say new, but I do a lot of interviews, and some people cannot. Like, and you guys are both really great about that.
Yeah.
But like, they're just over here. They'll stare at something over there, and they'll say their thought, and then they'll look back at you. But I feel like some people just they can't find the words.
And they have to look off to gather them.
And like they have to like I notice I do that sometimes too. But if I'm talking to a camera, I never look at the camera. I don't know my issues. I'm trying to get better at it. Like I like look all over the place. I look
I don't see you there. I don't see you.
Joanna.
Definitely a please and thank you goes a long way.
Yeah. Huh. What is your biggest challenge today?
Biggest challenge? Oh, the speed round. Franchise growth. Yeah.
I would say the same.
Yeah. We already talked about that. I don't need to put that in there. What is one code of conduct or behavior you teach your team? This is a way to be, a core value.
Do your job, but always have fun. Buena Papa is a fun place. You have to give that off.
What is one common standard of service you teach your team? Like this is like what's something that isn't necessarily expected from the guests. You know, something to go above and beyond what's expected from the guests.
Oh wow. Again, it's that pleasant vibe. Yeah. You know, give them. They're here spending their money. Be pleasant with them. Be pleasant.
Be a Buena Papa.
Be a Buena Papa. A good person.
A good papa is a potato, right?
Yeah.
Be a good papa.
So the actual term comes from Colombia, and they use it as saying a good person.
Oh, really?
So be a Buena Papa.
So a good potato is a good person?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Cool.
So I'm a Buena Papa. You're a Buena Papa.
I'm a Buena Papa.
We're
all
Buena Papas.
Muy Buena Papa.
Muy Buena Papa. Good Spanish, bro.
Good.
That's about all I got. And Papa's new on my vocabulary. What's one book that's a must read to make a better person or restaurant owner?
Ooh, we talked about one, but How to Win Friends and Influence
That's
People.
A good
Dale
one.
Carnegie.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah, favorite.
I think I love this book, and I think it's How to Be a Girl Badass.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a girl boss?
Yes.
Girl boss.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it bad?
She just uses that term inside.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
but it's
yeah.
How to Be a Girl Boss, right?
Yes.
I've heard that book before. What was the biggest lesson from that book?
Wow. Just be yourself. I think that we all, again, just as being a girl boss, I think we're all, as a girl, we're all bosses. We all have strength. Just, tap into it. You have it. Use it. It's okay. Don't be shy.
Don't shy away from it.
Yeah. Put it out there. People will definitely take to it.
What's one thing you feel restaurateurs don't do well enough or often enough?
I say adopting social media to your benefit. Yeah.
I would say vacationing.
That's good. I like
that is good. I agree.
You need a break.
You know what? We need a break, and actually, I always see that when he takes a break, he comes back so much stronger.
Yeah, and that's why you got to do all this stuff that is not sexy. That, like, building, like, after a 12-hour day, staying another hour to work on your operations, man.
Right.
All those extra things, to do the training, to, put those systems and processes
They're going to pay off later.
Because you can go take a break, work on your culture, all these things. What is one piece of technology you've recently adopted? We already talked about Toast, but is there another piece of technology that you've recently adopted that's had a huge impact on communication, efficiency, profitability, anything along those lines? ChatGPT, you talked about.
Yeah.
You said you're using it in social media, but how?
Well, I have it build out weeks worth of content.
So what do you do? What's that process like?
All right, so you give it prompts, and first of all, you can talk to ChatGPT like a person. You say, hey, you're a restaurateur. You need to market to this group. You have a month to market to them. Segment down each week and each day on fire topics that we'll bring up and kind of break it down, and it will just spit out something in seconds.
I know you're a busy dude. Would you be willing to carve out an hour for me remotely, digitally, to do a workshop around what your process?
Sure.
I know I'm putting you on the spot right now.
This is on the spot.
Yeah,
let's do
I just
it.
realized.
Look,
I'm edit this out.
I'm just shooting. Look, ready for a shoot.
But I feel like that would be. I'm interested in learning more about that.
And if I can't get together, I have videos that I have saved. This is where I learned the process from. I didn't develop this.
I'll take 15 minutes if you have.
No, it's cool. Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll follow up on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. What is? Oh, this is actually the last question.
Oh no,
we made it to the end.
The party's coming to an end.
I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
If you got the news, I should warn you, it's a deep one.
Oh man, let me.
If you got the news, you'll be leaving this world tomorrow.
Yeah.
All the memories of you, your work, and your restaurants will be lost with your departure. With the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom you could leave behind for the good of humanity and your legacy. What would those 3 pieces of wisdom be? Pretend this is meant for your children.
Wow, come on, bro. Why you gotta bring it there, bro?
Because that's what I do.
Oh man. Well, I might get a little emotional, but the interesting thing is that I talk to my kids about this all the time. Never give up.
1.
If you're gonna bet on anything, bet on yourself.
2.
Right? And don't take no. 3. Don't take no. There's always a yes on the other side.
You're backing that one up?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to back that one up because just like he said, we have these conversations as a family. The kids are there. I'm there. Even Nana's there.
Yeah, that's my mother.
You know, that's his mom. And this is what we learn on these Saturday lessons. And through time, I have noticed that they're 100% true.
Yeah. This is where we call somebody out. I've really had fun talking to you. I'm trying to get to this place where Restaurant Unstoppable is more organic, more journalistic. Who am I to decide who we make an example of? I think the industry knows best, and success recognizes success. So who do you recognize in the industry? Man. Somebody who you are just like, whoa, they're doing it right. I want to learn more. If that person was a guest on the show, I want to hear what they have to say.
There's only one person that comes to mind, and I don't know him personally, but I eat at his restaurant at least once a week.
His name, we love it.
We love it. His name
Actually, we were there yesterday.
Oh, you were there yesterday. I still have it on my breath if you can smell it. But his name is Oscar Diaz, and he is the owner of Cortez Restaurant in Raleigh.
Shout out to Cortez. We love you.
The best food in North Carolina, besides Buena Papa.
Yeah, of course.
but he's a little bit more upscale, but he's doing something right, and that's definitely somebody you need to talk to.
Oscar Diaz at Cortez. Look out, Oscar. I'm coming after you. And I'd love to come back to Raleigh, Durham, and this whole area, Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here.
It's a foodie place, man.
Yeah, and it's not that far. It's only a 12-hour drive.
Not far at all.
I mean, it's closer to California.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. keep heading
from New Hampshire, you should say.
Keep heading out there.
But I'm always driving through this part, like in transition to other places.
I got you.
Going to Florida, or if I'm going to like Nashville or Texas, I'll take a few hour detour.
Yeah.
And
he's worth it. He's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
This is where I say just thank you guys so much. And if we really enjoyed today's conversation and we want to connect with you, maybe we want to buy into the franchise.
Yeah.
What's the best way to connect?
Sure. So you can visit us at buenapapa.com. That's our main website. And there you can learn about our dishes. You can see our franchise program. And if you just want to see cool, sick pictures of fries, hang out on Instagram. We're at Buena Papa Fry Bar. That's at Buena Papa Fry Bar. And come check us out.
Yeah. This is episode 1,000. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We just eclipsed 1,000. This is episode 1,014. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/1014, and we'll have a link to any tool or service recommended, book recommended on the show, a summary of today's discussion, and how to connect with James and Johanna over there. And just James, Johanna, thank you guys so much.
This has been amazing. It's been a pleasure, an honor, actually.
You're a great guest. Great guest.
So
I'm so happy I made the stop here. And there is no questioning. You are unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Hey. I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.